There are many things people want to do on YouTube, but for me, most of all, I've always wanted to do my own type of death battle show. But unfortunately, I really didn't have a budget or talent when it comes to animating. But luckily, I finally raised enough money and hired a bunch of animators and editors to make my own type of death battle show. And I decided to call it Fast Fictional Fights. But I don't want this show just to be a copy and paste version of Death Battle, so there's going to be a few small changes. Number one, all the fights are going to somewhat connect with an overarching story. It's nothing that deep, but all the fights are on the same timeline. Season 1 is going to be about collecting the Infinity Stones, and Season 2 is probably going to have something to do with the Dragon Balls. And number 2, unlike Death Battle, these fights do not have to be to the death. Characters can win through knockouts, sealing their opponents away. As long as their opponent is not able to fight anymore, they will be declared the victor. The reason why I'm going to have it like this is so all the characters are not bloodlusted. For example, if I do 12-year-old Aang versus 12-year-old Naruto, neither of them really like to kill. So you just have to knock their opponent out. What about the whole outside help rule? Characters will be able to summon creatures to help them, but only through their own abilities, magical or non-magical. But it has to be something they normally have, so Goku can't use something like the Zeno button. What if I do a fight like Maka versus Ruby? Can Maka use her scythe, which doubles as a person? Well, Soul can be Maka's weapon, but he has to stay in his weapon form. I will also try to even the fights out if another character has, like, a demon inside them or something. For example, if I do Killer Bee versus Natsu, Killer Bee will have the 8 tails, but Natsu will also be able to use his Dragon Dad. Now, will the characters be composite versions of themselves, or just specific versions of themselves? Well, sometimes they will be, sometimes they won't be. But if a character dies, and only if they die, knockouts don't count, they are out, permanently. But if I use a specific version of a character, let's say Video Game Sonic, and he dies, I can still use Archie Sonic. But if a composite version of a character dies, all the composite versions of themselves I used to create them are all out, permanently. The reason why I have this rule in place is so the fights don't get too repetitive. Now, unfortunately, these fights take a long time, so I think I can only upload once per month. They also need an animator to make them and money to pay that animator. So please, give what you can on Patreon. If I can reach my goal of $3.99, yes, that is a PewDiePie joke, I'll be able to make a fight once per month easily. If you're an animator and a really good one, please hit me up and show me what you can do. All the Patreon money I make will be invested in this show. So please, help me make my dream come true.